My first guest tonight is a former footballer who is achieving as much off the pitch as he did on it. Paul Merson is a former England footballer and mental health advocate. He had a wildly successful football career which saw him win the league and FA Cup.
Merson, yes! Arsenal have scored!
Despite battling alcoholism and drug use.
Drink, drugs and gambling, and all of football is hoping he'll come out on top.
He's now a regular on Sky Sports, where his passionate punditry has made him a fan favourite. Recently, he's opened up about his gambling addiction in a critically lauded BBC documentary, and now he goes even further in his revealing new book, Hooked. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paul Merson! Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. I watched your documentary the other day, which is incredible. And the first thing I wanted to ask is, how are you? Because if I could have hugged you through the screen, I would have done it. It's such an important thing to have done. And the overall feeling you take away from it is, fuck, I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, how are you?
No, today good. Yeah, it's a day at a time. It's literally a day at a time. Today's good. You know, I don't know tomorrow. Hopefully, if I keep on doing what I do today, and I'll be all right again tomorrow. But I literally keep it in the day now. I try my hardest to do that.
Yeah, because the documentary, in case anyone hasn't seen it, it's on the BBC, it's on the iPlayer now, and it's all about it's about gambling and your life dealing with it, isn't it?
Yeah, and what it does to the brain and how the brain works, because it's not like drug and alcohol where you have to put something in your body to become drunk or high. This is already in your brain, and it just takes triggers along the way, whatever it may be, and that will, with the compulsion, can take over. I mean, the psychologist said on there, it's a miracle you don't gamble. So every night I get to bed and I put my head on the pillow, it is a miracle. And that's the way I look at it, and that's the way I treat it.
I'm sort of curious, what are the coping mechanisms if it's that kind of another day at a time, another...
It's literally talking to people, and accepting now. I learnt so much about myself about the documentary, how it works, because, you know, I heard so many times when I gambled, you'd hear people go, "Oh, it's a mug's game," and it used to drive me up the wall because I didn't want to gamble. Sometimes I didn't want to gamble. I've been in a hotel room when I was playing for Aston Villa at Charlton away for a night game, and I literally wanted to break my fingers. So I couldn't physically pick the phone up to have a bet. So they're the kind of cravings you get. And it's like, but if I turn round to someone and I went out last night, I had 20 pints, I didn't come home. Oh, I went on one. They laugh. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I bet that was a laugh. And that's the thing. People just think it's willpower. Just show a bit of man up. Just show a bit about yourself and be stronger. It doesn't work like that.
What I found fascinating in the documentary is that they mentioned that you have a type of personality, almost a thrill seeker. You could kind of see it, that there's a psychologist or a scientist. She's sort of saying even the way you used to play football, if anyone knows the way Paul used to play, you used to try and play, you know, Hollywood passes and worldies, back heels, and you were very good at it. But they sort of linked that type of personality to being more vulnerable to gambling. That's kind of fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. You know, I did play that way. I played like, you know, I gambled till I got to zero. You know, I never ever won and thought, oh, well, I'll take this. It wasn't about the money. It was about the thrill. And that's the thing. When you're playing in front of 40,000 people every week at a Highbury or a Villa Park or wherever it may be, and the fans are cheering your name and you score a goal, which is the biggest buzz in the world. So, for me, it's like when I come in the dressing room after, it was like, what do I do now? What do I do? And that was the problem. You know, a lot of the players, 99% of the players would go home, have a happy married life, and I couldn't. I needed to be up here or down here. It was constant.
And you were a great footballer. So
I was good.
Mate, you were
good. I was
great.
Footballer. Greats Maradona and Messi and Ronaldo.
Listen, I'm viewing it through my eyes.
Yeah, right.
And
yeah, but that don't say me anything, does it?
We should chat as well. You've now written a book. It's called Hooked.
Yeah.
And I was sort of curious. What is that like? Is it cathartic to get that out? It must be presumably quite painful to kind of relive those memories?
It was as it goes. It was in the end. Because I've wrote books before and I've wrote the jokey books like funny stories about my career. And, you know, I wrote a book called Rock Bottom in 1994. And that's probably about 5th on my list of rock bottoms since then.
Right.
You know, it's been that bad. So, for me, it was hard, you know, and...
Well, this is what I was thinking. Like, there was a stat in your documentary that a gambling ad is aimed at the consumer every 7 seconds. It's mind-blowing. There's no, you know, we don't have smoking adverts, we don't have kind of booze adverts to that propensity. How is that able to happen? And do you have kind of like... That must frustrate you.
It does now. Now I know about it in when I done the actual programme. And the adverts, you know, for me, they banned smoking adverts. You can't smoke yourself to death in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can gamble yourself away in 20 minutes. You can lose everything in 20 minutes, and that's not an exaggeration.
No.
I mean, the thing is, with our phones now, we have a walk-in casino in our pocket. You know, I'm fortunate I have a thing called Game Ban where it blocks absolutely everything. So if I ever put any gambling thing into my phone, it would block it. So it's the best £26 I've ever spent in my life every year. But yeah, you know what? I'm not here to change the world. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's the compulsive people. If I could gamble properly, I'd gamble properly. If I could drink properly, I'd drink properly.
Yeah,
of course I would. You know, there's millions of people that can, but there's a lot of people that are not well, and that's what it is. It's an illness. This is an illness, and it's good people. It's not... You know, I used to spend all my life for the last 36 thinking I was a bad person trying to become a good person. I wasn't. I was an ill person who needs to get well.
Yeah, exactly. But like you say, you are ill and you need access to whatever your medicine... What is your medicine? Is it counselling? Is it Gamblers Anonymous?
I go to GA, Gamblers Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. I talk to people in the meetings. I read my books. You know, I know it's a cliche, but I'm an ill person. I need to get medicine, and that's my medicine. I need help. I can't do it without that. It's impossible. I've been into treatment centres, but I was sent into treatment centres. I didn't want to personally go myself. I was made to go to keep everybody else happy. And when that happens, you're not going to... But it is a day at a time. You know, if someone said to me now, you can never take another drink or have another bet for the rest of your life, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I honestly sit here now and I wouldn't be able to do it. But when I get up in the morning, I say I will not have a bet or a drink or a drug today, that's doable. It's so doable.
Yeah, brick at a time, eh?
I think, I personally, I'm sitting up here like as a preacher, but everybody only gets today. So, you know, for me now, it's being happy and spending time with my wife, my kids, and being grateful for like normal things instead of trying to chase, you know, stuff that's never going to happen, like a yacht and 8-bedroom house with 7 toilets. You know, I've only got one bum, so you know what I mean.
The funny thing with something this sad and this heavy and this deep is that within it there's still humour. Because even in the documentary, that moment where you'd won 30 grand and you gave it to Harry Redknapp to look after.
Yeah, Millwall way.
So, and you thought he was going to put it in a safe, didn't you?
No, we got to Millwall way playing for Portsmouth, and we were getting changed. You usually say, what's happening with the dressing room? Are they locking the dressing room? And they usually say, we're locking it, and it's safe. And I said, well, that's not good enough. He said, well, what's the matter? What do you want me to hold your watch or something? And I said, I had a brown paper bag, I'd won 30 grand. And I said, will you look after that? And he opened it and he went, well, I won't say what he said, but he used to wear these baggy tracksuit bottoms, and he started stuffing the money down his tracksuit bottoms. And that was the best game I ever had in my whole life. If someone said to what was the ultimate game you ever played, I mean, I remember scoring in the game, and I was running back, and as we was jogging back, I was seeing like £50 notes floating down the thing, and I was thinking, they're fucking mine, aren't they? When he gave me my money back, it was like £300 short, but it was the best game I ever had. And I remember going afterwards, and I was getting in my car, and about a 70-odd-year-old man come up to me, and he went, I've been coming down to Millwall since I was 6 years of age, and I've never seen anybody get a standing ovation. And I mean, that was probably the highlight of my career, like to go to Millwall and they clap you off. I mean, it's unheard of. It's unheard of. And, yeah, I mean, and having 29,700 quid ops as well, I mean, that didn't last long.
Yeah. Do you find yourself, when you're watching football now, sort of imagining how you would fit in? Do you think you'd be a Premier League player?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. Oh, yeah.
But I love the fact earlier on.
You just told me I was great.
Yeah, well, this is it. But earlier on, you're like, no, I want the great.
Would I be able to live that disciplined life? I'm not sure. I played in a good era where we could do what we wanted. There wasn't phone cameras and things like that. You know, you've got to remember all that kind of stuff. With my addiction, I don't know. People go, oh, what about if you started over again? I couldn't take that chance. You've got to be very fortunate to be a footballer. For winning everything in the game by the European Cup, if it happened again, you just don't know.
Yes.
It's so hard to be a professional footballer. It's such a hard thing to do. So
they're under an enormous amount of pressure as well, because, but particularly like you say, with social media.
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't say that if I'm being honest, Russell. I mean, they're getting 1.5 a week. I mean, you know, pressure. I'm not being horrible. Pressure's when you're losing your job and you got to put. I'm not exaggerating. You got to put food on the thing. You know, social media, this and that. We have choices. You know, I have a choice today that I don't gamble and I don't drink. If I do, my life becomes unmanageable.
Yeah.
You don't have to read social media.
True.
You know, I think you have a choice, and if you want to read it, you know, I come off it, you know, because of certain stuff on it, and that was my choice at the moment. When I get stronger, I might go back on it again. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, these players, they have the best job in the world. It's the ultimate job. They're earning absolute fortunes. You know, I love to go around and talk to these clubs. If any of these lads ever have to do another day's work in their life, it's a shame. It's a shame, you know, for the money they're pulling in. And fair play to them. You know, people go to me, oh, how's he earning 200 grand a week? Yeah, Tom Cruise owns £40 million of film. He's never fucking won an Oscar. So,
yeah. Absolutely. Totally. You must get this thrown at you a million times. It's unbelievably brave what you're doing, because there will be people watching this and you'll be helping them.
If it's helping someone else, it helps me.
Well, there's no doubt whatsoever that it does. Amazing. I could talk to you all day. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up to fantastic Mr. Paul Merson.